In hey ches, actually.
I'm sorry.
Hey ches.
Oh, but I started back at the other ones. Okay. Okay, here we go. Okay, ches. If it covered him completely all at once, it is what if it was from a state of tahara, it is tummy, he is tummy. If it was from a state of tuma, he is tahor. Once one who becomes tahor from a state of containment is absolved from letting his hair grow, from rending his garments, from shaving, and from the birds. One who becomes tahor from a state of confirmation is obliged to do all of them. Both cause tuma upon entering a house. One who comes completely white, but who has a patch of living skin the size of a lentil, whose nega covered him completely and then the extremities reverted, as Mishael says, it is like the reverting of the extremities of a large Baharis. If Eleazar ben Azariah says it is like the reverting of the extremities of a small Baharis. I didn't cough once, so you got a.
I'm sorry, I bring out the worst in you, but maybe you weren't talking so much.
Okay. You have Ket Yud? Ket Yud?
Yes, go on with Yud.
Okay. One who can show his nigga to a Kohen and gain, and one who can show his nigga to a Kohen and lose. How so? Someone was confirmed tummy and the symptoms disappeared, but he did not succeed in showing it to the Kohen before it covered him completely, his tahor. Whereas had shown it to the Kohen, he would be tummy. On the other hand, someone had a Baharis with nothing in it, but he did not succeed in showing it to the Kohen until it covered him completely, his tummy. Whereas he had shown it to the Kohen, had he showed it to the Kohen, he would be tahor. Okay.
Okay. Okay, so now we're dealing with the subject of burns and boils. So as we're going to see in the Mishnah, burns and boils have identical halachas. Okay, because it's not healthy skin, so the concept of michya doesn't exist because the michya is healthy skin in the middle of a nega. Okay, and because you're in a burn, there's no concept of healthy skin in the middle. Okay, but what you can, however, have hair coming through, and you can have spreading. So that's the big difference between these things. So if the two things are identical in halacha, we'll see that why are they defined separately? It's because they don't join together. But that's giving you a little preview of what we're going to see in the Mishnah. Okay, Shin and Michvah become tameh only within 1 week. Okay, so if the subject comes to the Kohen and says kanega and he's got it on the burn, the Kohen will put him into quarantine for only 1 week. If at the end of 1 week there are no simanei tumah, then he's dismissed immediately, as opposed to a regular baheris, which needs 2 weeks. Okay, bishnei simanim. So there are only two simanim: ser lavan or pisyon, the white hair or spreading. So what is considered a shchin? Laka ba'eit or be'even or be'gefes or b'meitveria, kol she'enu machmas ha'esh, any kind of blow or wound or anything that was caused that was not because of fire. Okay, so even like hot springs or like a sunburn is not considered fire. Okay, so anything like that is considered. I'm using the term boil, but it's not really an accurate description. We'll just call it shchin. Okay.
So if someone pours coffee on his hand by accident and it burns his hand, it's skin.
So the coffee. So that's an interesting question because the coffee itself was heated by fire. Assuming it was done in the pot over the gas stove, or something like that. Right. So we can get into debate about what electricity does. So I'm not sure if it's like a secondary thing from the fire. I'm going to go with that. It's more likely to be part of the shchin than from michvah. So what's a michvah? Okay, it's something that is because of a hot coal or from hot ashes. That's something that's directly from fire. So there are two definitions: things that are caused by fire and things that are not caused by fire. They might look the same, but they have separate definitions. And this is the most important thing of why we bother with being particular about these two different definitions, is that they don't join to get together. So and they cannot spread from one to the other, and neither of them can spread into healthy flesh. And if you have a baheris on regular skin and it spreads into an adjacent mikveh or shrin, that also does not count as a pisyon. Okay, so they don't go together. It's like if you have a chatzi gris on the mikveh and a chatzi gris on the shkin adjoining each other, that's not a gris.
What would we say about Moshe Rabbeinu? Because he burnt himself with a coal.
You're talking about the midrash where he
Right.
so that would be so if he had developed a nega on the place of the burn, that would be a mechbah. It's a kol. It's from fire. Right. Okay. Okay. Hayu moridin tohorin. Now, if they're actually still an open weeping wound, then there's no din of nega on there at all. Even if it looks like there's a nega, that's not. If it's still an unhealed weeping wound, we don't talk about negaim over there at all. Okay. Asu krum keklipas hashum. As soon as it forms a membrane of healing, some sort of healing that's as thick as a garlic peel. Okay. That's what we call as a tzarevas hashkin, as a scar of a burn. Okay, of a boil. That is spoken about in the Torah. Chazru v'chayu, and afterwards it healed completely and became regular skin. And even though there's a scar in place, nidorin or basar, that's treated like a regular skin. So scar tissue is the same as regular skin. Okay. Now here's an interesting case. Shaulus Rabbi Eliezer. So on the palm of his hand, he's got a nega that's the size of a cellar. And the place that it is basically the place of a boil. Okay, so it's exactly filling the space of the boil. Amar lahim yaskir. So he said the halacha is that he must go into quarantine. Amrulo lama. Why should he go into quarantine? How is it possible for simanei tumah to come out? Legadel seyar lavan ena reuya. It can't sprout hair because it's on the palm of his hand.
Right.
So no hair there. But a pisyon ena posa, and it cannot spread because it's exactly filling the place of the boil. And if it spread onto the regular skin, that wouldn't count anyway. So what are you looking for? Why are you bothering with the pisay? Why are you bothering with the quarantine? And there's no such thing as a michya because by shchin we said there's no such thing as michya because it's already on unhealthy skin. Amar lehen shema tichnos v'tivseh, because maybe it will shrink, and after it's shrunk, then it will grow again. Okay, and once it's so if that's the case, then that's called a pisayon, and he will be confirmed. Amrulo. Okay, they said to him, fine. What happens in the case where the original thing is not a seller, but it's bidyuk a kagris? So there's no chance of it shrinking and then expanding into something useful, because as soon as it shrinks, it's already less than a kagris, and we view it as not even being there. Amar lahin lo shamati says, I don't know, but that's my Masorah. Still got to, even in such a case, you would still have to put him into quarantine. And they're shaking their head, shaking their shoulders, and saying like, "But why? What are you checking for? There's no way that this can be confirmed." Amar lo Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira, Alameidbo. He says, "Can I give a reason?" Amar lo im lekayim divrei chachamim hein. He says, only if you're going to tell me something that's going to confirm my Masorah. Because if you're going to come with reasoning that contradicts my Masorah, I'm not going to accept it anyway because I've got a Masorah. Because maybe he'll get another burn on that's just on the outside, and it'll be able to spread into it. So now we have a reason. Now we understand why we're putting him to quarantine, because on the off chance of the very remote chance that he'll get a shchin directly next to that one, and the nega will spread into it. Amarlo Chacham gadol ata. He says, Shkoyach. You did well. Shikiyamta divrei chachamim. You have confirmed the words of the chachamim with a good svara. Okay.
Okay, now we have hey.
Hey.
All right. Once the afflicted person has been confirmed tummy, a doubt is ruled tummy. How so? Two people came to a Kohen, one with a Baharas the size of a gris, and the other with a Baharas the size of a Sela. If at the end of the week both Baharas are larger than a Sola, they both become confirmed tummy. Even if both on the Negaim revert to the size of a Sela, they both remain tummy until they become as small as a gris. This is what was said. Once the afflicted person has been confirmed tummy, a double doubt is ruled tummy. A basic Baharas is the size of a Syrian gris squared. The area of a gris is equivalent to 9 lentils, and the area of a lentil is equivalent to the area of which 4 hay grows. Thus, there were 36 hairs in a nega. A Baharas, the size of a gris that contains a mikya, the size of a lentil. If the Baharas spread, it is tummy. If it receded, it becomes tahor. If the mikya expanded, Baharas is tahor. If the mikya receded, the Baharas is tahor.
Right.
Right?
Hey, yes, good. Well,
right. Okay, Yud Aleph. Yud Aleph, hey, Bob. And if the person is lying on the threshold while a corpse bearers pass over him, Breit Shammai says he does not spread tumah, whereas Beis Hillel says he does spread tumah. If the tumor is inside the house while tahor people pass over him, Breit Shammai declares them tahor, whereas Beis Hillel declares them tameh. A dog ate corpse flesh and then died, and is presently lying across the threshold of a house. Rameir says if his neck is a handbreadth wide, tumah spreads into the house, and if not, tumah does not spread into the house. Rabbi Yossi says we check the tumah. If it is inside the doorstep, the house becomes tameh. If it's outside the doorstep, the house remains tahor. Eliezer says if his mouth is inside, the house remains tahor. If his mouth is outside, the house becomes tameh because the tumah takes us to a tria. And Rabbi Yehuda ben Zerah says if there's any of these cases, the house becomes tameh. How long can the corpse flesh remain inside and still convey tumah? 3 24-hour long periods. Regarding birds and fish, long enough to be thrown into a fire and become burned. These are the words of Rabbi Shimon, and Rabbi Yehuda ben Zerah says regarding the birds and fish for 24 hours.
Okay.
Ted base. Regarding a barrel that is full of tahor beverages and the siphon is in it, which is surrounded by a sealed cover and placed under the same roof as the corpse, Beis Shammai says the barrel and the beverages are tahor, but the siphon is tameh. And Beis Hillel says even the siphon is tahor. Subsequently, Beis Hillel reversed themselves to rule in accordance with the view of Beit Shammai. Regarding a cherries that was found beneath the floor of an oven, the oven is tahor, for I must say it fell while alive and only now did it die. Regarding a needle or ring that was found beneath the floor of an oven, the oven is tahor, for I say they were there before the oven arrived. If they were found in the ashes, the oven is tameh, for there's nothing to which it can be attributed. Regarding a sponge that absorbed tameh beverages and was dry on the outside and it fell into the ashes of the oven is tameh because the beverage will eventually emerge, and eventually a piece of turnip or regrass. But Shimon was tahor in these 2 cases.
Okay.
Avos. Okay. Daled Yud Ches. Rav Shimon ben Elazar said, do not appease your friend at the time of his anger. Do not comfort him at the time of his dead life before him. Do not question him at the time of his vow, and do not attempt to see him at the time of his dedication. Shmuel HaKaran says, when your foe falls, be not glad, and when he stumbles, let your heart not be joyous. Lest Hashem see and the beads of pleasing in his eyes, and he return his anger from him. Elisha ben Abuya says, one who studies as a child, to what is he compared? To ink written on a new paper. And one who studies as an elder, what is he compared? To ink written on an erased paper. Yosef ben Yehuda, the leader of Abavli, says, one who learns from children to what is it compared? To one who eats grapes and drinks wine from the press. The one who learns from his elders, to what is he compared? To one who eats ripe grapes and drinks aged wine. Rebbe says, do not look at the vessel, rather look at what it contains. For there can be a new vessel containing old wine and an old vessel which lacks even new wine.
Okay. Vamos. Yud Daled Ches. Is this the one where you've got all of your
Right.
you've got one?
Right,
Okay,
Right.
so the case that we're starting with the second last case here, which
Right.
is
Shania,
two competent brothers married to two
right.
unrelated women, one competent and one courageous.
Competent brothers were married to two sisters, one a deaf mute and one competent, and the competent husband of the deaf mute sister died. What should be the competent husband of the what should the competent husband of the competent sister do? Nothing, because she is released to his wife's sister.
No. That's not. It's the wrong case. It's the wrong case. We're look towards the end of your mission. Take the second last
Right,
case.
the next one then. If two brothers, one a deaf mute and one competent, were married to two sisters, one a deaf mute and one competent, and the deaf mute husband of the deaf mute sister died, what should be the competent husband? What should be the competent husband of the competent sister do? Nothing, because she is released as his wife's sister. If the competent husband of the competent sister died, what should be the deaf mute husband of the deaf mute sister do? He must discharge his wife with a bill of divorce, and his brother's wife is perpetually forbidden.
Okay, just skip a case because this is like yesterday's stuff. Okay, skip one and go to the next case.
The next case I have is if two competent brothers were married and two unrelated women, one competent, one a deaf mute, and a competent husband. That's good. And the competent husband of the deaf mute wife died. What did the competent husband of the competent wife do? He should marry her. And if he then wishes to divorce her, he may, if the competent husband, he may. If the competent husband of the competent wife died, what should the competent husband of the deaf mute wife do? He should perform either chalitza or yibum. If two brothers, one a deaf mute and one competent, were married to two unrelated women, one a deaf mute and one competent, and the deaf mute husband of the deaf mute wife died, what should the competent husband of the competent wife do? He should marry her. And if he then wishes to divorce her, he may. If the competent husband of the competent wife died, what should the deaf mute husband of the deaf mute wife do? He should marry her, and then he can never divorce her. I'm now at Testal and Olive.
Go ahead.
A woman who went with her husband overseas, and then there was amity between him and her and beasts of the world. And she came and said, "My husband died, and she may marry. But if she said, 'My husband died,' she may be taken in yibum." If there was amity between him and her, and by war in the world, if there was a conflict between him and her and beasts in the world, and she came and said, "My husband died," and she is not believed, then Yehuda says she's never believed unless she comes weeping with her clothes torn. They said to him, in either case, she may marry.
Okay. Okay, Trumas.
Okay.
Lefav.
Five may not separate Truma, but if they did separate, then Truma is Truma. But one who is mute or drunk or naked or blind or Bakari may not separate Truma, but if they separated Truma, then Truma is Truma. One may not separate Truma by measure, by weight, or by number, but he may separate from what has been measured, weighed, or counted. One may not separate Truma in a measuring basket or hamper, but if he separated them in half or a third of their volume, one may not separate Truma in a saw, half bowl, of the half, or for half of it as a measure. One may not separate Truma for oil, for olives which are due to be crushed, but from wine, for grapes that are due to be trodden. But if he did separate, his Truma is Truma, but if he must separate again, the first itself renders Meduma, and one is liable for it to the added fit, and not for the second.
Okay.
Sunday, I should talk to you. It is regular day.